Hi, I hope everyone's doing well. My name is Ekta, and I'm a second-year podiatry student, and I study at the University of Northampton. Throughout lockdown, I've been keeping myself busy by documenting my student experience and sharing it online. Yes, I've been recording in my dorm room, and no, I'm not crazy. Kinda. In doing so, I had the amazing opportunity to interview some really great people within the profession and some aspiring students. Today, I get the privilege to introduce the new Chair of Council at the College of Podiatry, Matthew Fitzpatrick. I hope you thoroughly enjoyed the interview and the conference. Please continue watching.
Hi, Matt. How are you doing today?
Very good, thank you.
Awesome. First, I just wanted to say congratulations on your new position as chair. How do you feel about this?
Gosh, I mean, it's because you know about it, a year in advance, because you are elected around about a year in advance. It was in the July, but unfortunately we had to postpone, as you know, till the September. So I knew in July 2019 I was going to be chair. So you sort of know it's coming, but it's not obviously until the day you suddenly go, oh, I've now got to be a different. But it's been really exciting. The council are amazing, and
that's great.
It's been great to take over, and I'm glad George has handed over a great ship.
Oh wow. Well, we can't see what you have in store. Firstly, how did you keep it to yourself all this time? Like, I feel like I would have been like itching to tell people.
So it's sort of announced, but it's sort of, it's outside of it. A lot of people aren't that sort of aware of it, and it's probably a bit closer to the time that people start to realize it's going to happen. So it's not really kept a secret per se, but I suppose we don't talk about it until closer to the time. But it was really great. I told some close friends initially, and as I said, because you got a year, we work into it. But it's been quite exciting, and I'm glad I'm now in it.
So when does your role officially start? Like, when do you start being chair?
So it has. So the way it works is, as the AGM happens, the AGM is done in a transition year and is chaired by the then chair. So it was George. Then immediately after the AGM, there's a very small council meeting that happens. And that is chaired by the then chair. And then the very last agenda item, he steps down or she steps down, and then the new chair takes over. So in essence, I close that meeting as the new chair, and then from then on I am. So on the 26th I was, and we had our first council meeting full with me as chair on the 2nd of October.
Ooh, very exciting stuff. Well, I'm super honored that you chose me to help host, bring you in, and well, not exactly bring you in, but chose me to do this interview. I'm super pumped and very, very honored.
My pleasure.
Had to whip out the leather jacket and everything.
You gotta. I put on my nice sporty jacket.
You do.
Make sure
you
my
look
background.
Amazing.
You're very kind. I want to make sure my background was good. Got the lighting right.
Yes, we are at a very good contrast.
It's my first sort of proper podcast like this, type of thing. So let's see how I go.
Do you plan on doing more?
Well, let's see what people think about this one first.
Okay. Right. So my first question is, how did you get into podiatry?
Really great question. So when considering what to go into from a clinical degree point of view, and I always want to do something in the clinical arena, podiatry for me, and it's quite interesting. I answered this question not so long ago from someone else who interviewed me for another thing. And for me, the benefit of podiatry very early on was it took you into different avenues of potential clinical practice. I mean, you obviously start off learning the fundamentals, the basics, and you progress. But what I was very pleased to see that it can take you into so many different areas, which clearly I know an awful lot more about now. And yourself as a student coming forward, you're obviously very excited to see what the opportunities were. But I think for podiatry, it's the breadth of practice, it's the opportunities to work across the globe as well, and noting some restrictions in certain areas, but principally it's an autonomous clinical practice that enables you to really make a difference in health across the UK and beyond.
Okay, so I mean, that's a really great transition into our next question, which is, what's your favorite thing about this field?
So, as a branch of medicine, as a field of medicine, podiatry principally looks at the foot, the ankle, and what we call the associated structures. So the lower leg, up to the knee. And some people say, well, where do you stop? And actually, I was on a meeting today discussing this with a bunch of colleagues. Vascular podiatry now is looking at reviewing how we look at femoral pulses, is looking at popliteal pulses. So femoral being in the groin, popliteal being behind the knee. And it's not just how we look at the feet. So I think for me, my most favorite aspect and part of podiatry is its diversity. Okay. You can be in podiatric surgery, you can be in dermatology, you can be in pediatrics, you can be in rheumatology, you can be in vascular diabetes, you can be in sports, you can be in older people care. You know, there's so many different areas of it, but equally also you can be in management, you can go into research, you can go into teaching. You know, the people who are teaching you in university at the moment are people who are podiatrists, who've trained as podiatrists, who've worked in the clinical setting. So what I really hope anyone who ever considers wanting to do podiatry can see its breadth. And I think for you as a student, it's super exciting because there is so many places to go, but equally, you don't have to make that decision early on, which I think is really exciting with podiatry. You get the fundamentals of everything, and then you can move on.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree with you. Like it's such a broad field. I absolutely love it. And your doors just completely wide open once you graduate.
And I think it's true. Just about, you had one of your other podcast, you know, interviews with one of our colleagues down in Australia. Yeah. And again, how he looks, you know, from a sports point of view, and what he's trying to do is interact with students to pull out the opportunities there and give them advice. But equally, it's about how we engage with our patients using this new media as well.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, Jackson, he's absolutely amazing. Much respect for Jackson. So how do you see the future of the college, and what changes would you like to bring in during your role?
So I think the future of the college is at a precipice, but actually an exciting one. It's not a, oh my gosh, we're going to fall over or it's going to go wrong. No, I think it's exciting that, you know, we've celebrated many successes throughout my career, not me doing it, but looking at how others have all worked together. We've had independent prescribing. We've had annotation of podiatric surgery. We've seen advancement in vascular podiatry. We're seeing people using independent prescribing, not just in medicines management, but independent practice. We're looking at advanced practice. We're seeing people who've worked in COVID in totally different ways. But for me, it's about, for the college as the professional body, is securing our preeminence when it comes to foot health. And it's not just about podiatric practice. It's about how we lead, we set the standards, we set the guidance, we set the competencies for the delivery of foot health across all avenues, both in the NHS and the private practice. So I think it's a really important point. And the changes, I mean, I don't want to see changes in the fact that we need to change the way in which we're delivering things. What we need to do is evolve and develop. It's not about changing and saying that is wrong. It's about taking what's working really well, but enhancing it and developing it. You know, as a very good saying, you know, necessity sort of precipitates and leads to invention. You know, so it's how you see the challenges ahead and how we adapt. COVID has forced us to do things like this. You know, the conversation we're having now.
Absolutely.
You know, have made this in media the way in which we use it. So I think for me, the changes I want to see is making us accessible, engageable, and more importantly, something that attracts people like you who want to come and work in the profession.
Absolutely. That's really great. And I really like how you are student focused and you really kind of push mentorship. And I absolutely love that, because the best way I learn myself is through mentoring. So how can we help students more? And are there any student-based initiatives that you have in mind in particular?
So just before doing this talk, I was on with the University of Southampton students, and we were talking about pharmacology and musculoskeletal pharmacology, as well as things like you know, local anesthetic use and steroids and ultrasound. And so for me, the professional body, need to help students is to make podiatry as accessible. So whether that's in training, in placements, in portraying the image of podiatry to make it something that we attract more into. But I think for me, students through the CPSA, so the College Podiatry Students Association, which is a fantastic a group of people who get together who help champion students, I think we need to start listening more to them. We need to understand what their needs are. So much during COVID now, where you guys having to deal with something none of us have ever had to deal with. And I think the initiatives that I have in mind can't be mine. They need to come from you guys. And for me, what I want to do is hear what things would help you and benefit you. I haven't been a student for a very long time. Let's just go with, it's a number.
We can't tell.
Well, you're too kind, but it's definitely 2 digits. But more importantly, when I was a student, I had all my ideas and I wanted to get them out there. And for me, the student initiatives I have in mind are the ones that I want you guys to provide. So hopefully on the back of this, we will hear some, and I would love to get involved and help use them.
A great way to also do that for any students that are watching here today, get involved with course reps, course advocacy, get involved with the student union, become a faculty advocate, and really make your voices heard, because that is an excellent way.
Not just in podiatry. No, but not just in podiatry. You said something that's really important. It's about making a voice for how students are and education develops, and it's not just in podiatry, it's across the board. So you are 100% right, and it's a really important message.
Thank you. So moving on to my final question before we go to the fun questions. How can students help each other, and how can students help you, which you've already answered, but if you'd like to just reiterate that point.
And I think you've hit the nail on the head. It's like, you've really got to help each other. Right. You know, so you go from, you know, the colleges and universities in Scotland to over to Northern Ireland, in Wales, across England. You know, we have some amazingly diverse universities in the way in which they deliver teaching, in the way in which you can access placements, in the way in which they deliver tutorials and mentoring and development. And that's not saying anyone is better than the other. It's what attracts individuals to different universities is the different styles in which it's done. I've had the privilege of visiting all of them at some point, not all of them as much as I would love. And I certainly want, as chair, when we move out of COVID, is to be able to go and see more and engage with students. But the students are ultimately the ones who know what they're going through, and they're the ones I think we need to say how we bring together. So I want to be able to facilitate that through the CPSA, as I was talking about, through support from people like Elaine, who's fantastic, through people like Claire, and people like Rachel now, who are looking at business and, you know, mentoring in all those types of way. It's not just about the fundamentals of clinical practice. So we need to be there to help each other, but absolutely reach out to me, chairman@cop.org.uk, really easy. Email me. I am happy to hear from anyone. I would love to hear your thoughts, aspirations, and ideas, because we want to make them happen.
Yes, that is fantastic. And I will link Matt's socials and contact information in the down in the description below. Right.
Well, I've always wanted to do that. Click below.
Click below, like my video, subscribe, hit the notification bell. I've got this.
Oh yeah, no. See, I don't know any of that, so I'm gonna keep quiet.
But I think you've made such an excellent point. Like we are, as podiatrists, a great community, and we need to stick together to be able to push the profession more forward and more into the future. So I really, really like that point.
Great.
Right. Question game round for Matt. Are you ready?
I'm scared, but go on.
You've got your game face. I know you do. Okay. What is your worst kitchen disaster?
Oh, okay. Gosh, I think probably people who knew me when I was at university, I have certain things that I liked to cook. I was a fan of sort of a pasta thing. I love sweet and sour chicken. Literally just had sweet and sour chicken before recording this message, this video. Good. I love sweet and sour chicken.
It's so easy to make too.
But it is, but also I used to have sweet and sour chicken with pasta, not with rice.
I make curry with pasta. Like I make my boyfriend a curry pasta, and it's like the most like cheat meal you could find. Yeah. It's like mind blowing. It's so easy.
This is not a disaster, but I think my housemates used to call it a kitchen disaster because it was an embarrassment. But I think one time I did think that I was going to be amazing, and I was going to cook us all when we were in our university accommodation. I was going to cook us a big Sunday dinner, and I was super keen and super excited. Set everything up, did all the vegetable preparation. Everyone had to leave me alone. I was channeling my inner mother who taught me all these things. And we planned the time. They all went out to the pub. They all came back. We were ready to go. And I timed everything, and I'd set my timer, so I knew I wasn't going to burn anything. And I went down, right, I'm just going to take the chicken out now and it's be perfect. And then we'll just finish that. And I hadn't turned the oven on.
Salmonella, anybody?
So no burning, but no cooking. So
you had the opposite problem.
The opposite problem. We all ate eventually, but it was about 2.5 hours later than planned.
Oh, honey.
Yeah. So yeah, I haven't done that since. But yeah, that was probably my biggest kitchen disaster.
I think a lot of people are going to be very happy to hear that. Right. Next question. Have you gotten away with anything that you shouldn't have gotten away with? And this is like including your childhood.
No, of course not. I've been innocent.
You've been an angel.
Well, no, that's definitely something. I would say probably if I'm the eldest of 6, and my next brother down, Jonathan, who is 3 years younger than me, I probably got away with winding him up a lot more than I should have done. I got blue eyes, and I would just bat my eyes and be all like it wasn't me. And my mother clearly knew it was me, but I probably got away with winding him up a lot more than I should have. I think he's forgiven me. It is. I think he's forgiven me. But yeah, probably my brother got the short straw because I was the eldest, and I loved being the eldest till he came along and ruined it. And then we had. Well, my parents then had another 4, but yeah. They're all fantastic.
You had to be a parent to children you didn't have, so I fully get why you're angry. I mean, I'm an only child, so I don't have that problem, but
yeah, my baby sister was a lot younger than me, so I love being like a third parent to her. But no, yeah. Jonathan, my first brother, but the second one of us probably got more than they should have gone for me. Bless him.
Oh. I don't blame you. If you could morph any 2 animals to make a super animal, what 2 would you morph?
So one of them's got to be a unicorn, because the unicorn is like the most perfect animal in the world.
Absolutely.
Happy, fun, and everything. And I would, oh gosh, these are really not just fun. These are hard.
I'm sorry. I should have asked these first.
Yeah. So unicorn, and probably like a bird of some description. So like that unicorn could, like a phoenix attached to the unicorn that can fly anyway. I think I'm probably just channeling something from, and you are far too young to remember, there's a program called Dungeons and Dragons when I was growing up. That was like a cartoon. It's a game, but it was a cartoon, and it was around the same time as things like Thundercats, and all these amazing things. They were like the best thing when I was a child, and I think it was a very similar animal. But yeah, anything that can fly around and spread love, joy, and happiness is perfect with me.
Love it. What 3 items could you buy at the grocery store to make the cashier laugh? Instant giggle. I love it.
So clearly I've got to know my audience, and there's things like you really can't say.
Yeah.
But and you can buy anything in this store, I assume.
Yes.
Oh gosh. What is the 3 things I would buy to make someone laugh? I would go, someone that makes someone smirk would be chicken,
cooked,
sweet and sour sauce, and pasta.
Oh, yes.
Because I would tell them the story,
of course,
as they were doing it, to explain and make them laugh. There you go.
You would have to almost hold them down.
Exactly. There you go.
What's your most embarrassing moment from high school? Or it's not really high school here.
Do these get better or harder? These are, oh my gosh. I think this is like the hardest interview I've ever had, like ever, let alone becoming chair.
I'm not really that sorry, to be fair.
No, what's that? Sorry, not sorry.
It's fun for me. I said it was fun, but not really fun for you.
Right. I will learn that in times of future agreement. I would say, did I am embarrassing? I mean,
I think we've all had.
I think but I think I had a great time in school. I was very lucky. I had a lovely experience. I mean, you have some, awkward days, but that doesn't everyone. I think I suppose some people would say it was embarrassing when I was in my first year of high school. So when I was 11, I performed in the school pantomime. And I had to do a dance with one of the older girls. And when we were doing the dance, I accidentally tripped her up. Not on purpose, obviously, or was it? I actually tripped her up, so it sort of made everyone laugh, and I was a bit embarrassed because I did it even though she tripped up. So probably that was a bit embarrassing, but it was fun, and she forgave me, I think.
It's the blue eyes, isn't it? It's the baby blues.
Again, I just fluttered the blue eyes, and
You
it
just
seems
bat
to work.
them.
Yeah.
Last final question, and
Okay.
our friendship heavily depends on this question. What's the best type of cheese?
Oh, that's easy. It's the type of cheese that you can use to hide a small horse.
I love it. I mean, there's no refuting that.
It's called mascarpone.
Oh my!
What? Brilliant cheese.
I'll give you that. I love it. Well, this has been an incredibly fun time. I've had such a great time interviewing you. It was really great getting to know you, and I hope the students, they take your advice, really make their voices known and heard. I hope you have a great run as chair, and I really can't wait to see what you have in store for us. Thank you so much, and have a lovely, lovely night. Bye.
You too. Thank you. Bye-bye.